that the state might go Democrat in the near future. So
Yeah,
I'm really interested to see that.
for a while, but might happen sooner or later. Yeah.
Austin's good.
Yeah. I've never been there. I've never been to Texas at all.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever gotten a Texas download, so tell
One
your
stop.
friends in Texas to listen.
One stop.
Yeah, Najee and Bob were there, though. You guys had a lot of fun.
We were, and we did, and we went to Austin and El Paso.
Oh, cool.
Have you been to a lot of states, Maher?
None in the South. Yeah, most of them on that road trip. We stopped in a lot of places, but we were north of
Some Midwest
Mason-Dixon
states.
the whole time, basically. Well, I mean, unless, like, outside of the far west, like Arizona, Nevada, and stuff.
I counted. I've been to half.
Oh, you've been to half the states?
Mhm.
I think I might have been to more than half.
Because
you did that one with Dan, too,
Yeah,
right?
that one was like
Super
we
long.
I think we might have gotten to more than half just on that trip alone.
Cause
But like obviously just driving through most of them.
Yeah.
We're
oh
we're
yeah,
not stopping.
I'm not. I'm counting states I actually spent some time in.
Yeah,
But I guess I
where
don't
you
remember
spent
at
the
this
night,
point.
You have to sleep over.
No, that's not fair. I mean, I made a day trip to like Cleveland. We spent several hours there.
Why would you
spent
do?
several
Why would you
hours
do
in
that, though?
Rhode
Day
Island.
trip from where?
Yeah.
From Chicago to Cleveland?
I'm sorry. I mean, it wasn't like a day trip. Let's see. That's the thing. I went like 2 separate road trips to each coast, but not the same road trip. So
Oh, you went each direction from Chicago. or
right.
something,
So
or
from
to
Chicago, I went to Connecticut, and we stopped in Ohio. So I mean, we're there for a few hours. I guess we had some lunch. And in Rhode Island, I did the same thing. So I'm counting those, right?
Wait, those are the same coast, Bob. Rhode Island and Connecticut are like right next to each other.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying I'm counting them as states.
Oh, Rhode
Yeah.
Island, like Ohio. But then you took another trip from Illinois to California too.
Right.
Stopping
And
on
see,
the way
I mean,
in Tennessee.
I don't remember now. Yeah, see, like Tennessee, I count that. We went and had like lunch in Nashville.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I mean,
I don't
obviously, I've
like-
definitely spent way more time in Tennessee than you guys.
Right. But we also stopped in Mississippi, and I don't remember if I sit here and tally it. I don't remember if I counted that in it.
We went to Memphis too. I think that's where we had lunch. We had lunch in Memphis.
You're right. It was what's on the Mississippi? It's Memphis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun, man. That's a huge ass river.
I think
remember
we were
crossing
on
it.
Beale Street, or there
I
Beale
don't know.
Street.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, I think I've only driven through
Where was
Tucson.
White Sands? Was New Mexico?
Oh, that was in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Count it. There you go. Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to take a trip to like knock out a bunch of the southern states. That would be fun.
Yeah, you should make it out to New Orleans. Definitely.
Yeah.
Unique
Oh yeah,
vibe.
that was cool.
Vinay's there now. By the
Oh,
way.
right now?
Yeah. He's,
Hey,
he's
Vinay,
like,
listener,
sorting school.
shout out.
Yeah. Got a couple of.
Oh, what's he doing?
He's like, I think like post medical school thing, or maybe
What?
he's still in
Like,
medical
Put
school.
a specific.
It's enough, Vinay.
Residency, or I don't know.
Oh,
I
is
haven't
it a
talked to him
residency?
in a
Why
while.
don't you
yeah.
leave some of those degrees for the rest of us?
Like you're gonna fucking get it.
Yeah, medical school degree.
Yeah.
Well, I think I have enough degrees. I am a doctor. So it's
Dr.
not a
Bobber.
medical one.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Dr.
it'd be
Bobber
cool
is
to
way
go
better
out
than Dr. Caribbean too, by the way.
Dr. Bobber.
Dr.
Sounds
Baba.
like a Beatles song or
Yeah.
something.
Because there's a Beatles song called Dr. Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
The B side was Dr. Bobber, I think. Dr. Bobber. Okay. Yeah. What have you guys been
Well,
up to?
I was saying I had a couple of world history students, and it was really awesome, and I really enjoyed it. We were talking, like, one of the first one we were talking about, this section on American civilizations, and I knocked it out of the park. And it's just like, damn, I don't even have to prepare for this like I do
No,
for
it's
U.S.
pretty-
history. I feel so weak in U.S. history.
That's pretty cool that they actually cover that.
Yeah,
for AP.
barely. I mean, they talked about the Aztecs and Inca, and then the only thing they talked about in North America were the mound builders, which is kind of weird because, I mean, like
I've
we
never even heard of
we
that.
know so little about it. It's a society in, like, around Illinois, like Mississippi River, but
Okay.
more around there. But like
Circa
literally,
when?
Like
I don't
way
even know.
pre-Columbian.
no,
Well-
not even that far. But-
Why not talk about like the tribes and stuff we know about well?
Right. See, like the mound builders, we just basically only know about them because they found these
mounds.
big mounds. Yeah. But yeah, because I was saying there's these tribes, but I guess it's the timeline. I don't know too well, but there's tribes around the Great Lakes that were like pretty well advanced by the point Europeans came by. And then that, like, one of the books didn't even talk about like the Pueblo culture, and then another one did. So I don't know.
Who had writing systems though?
The Aztec.
Did the Incas? They
Well, the
probably did,
Aztec
right?
had a writing system they like adopted from, I think, Mayans.
Mm.
The Inca didn't have a writing system. They kind of had like a proto writing system
Like
almost.
runes or something.
No, well, they had these things because
Picture?
writing systems probably stemmed from like ways to tally things, keep
Yeah.
track of like
Sure.
numbers, and they have that. They use like strings and things like that to like keep track of like, I don't know, numbers of things. So they had that, but they didn't have a writing system per se. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. I got to talk to the girl who lives in Glendale, who grew up here, and I talked to her about like the Aztec language, because talk about the Aztecs being nomads, which eventually they settled down in Mexico.
Sure. Yeah.
But how they're related to the natives in the LA area, they're in the same family tree.
Like linguistically or whatever.
Yeah. Well, they probably, which
I mean, and they
which
probably
is
are
like
related.
evidence that they probably come from
The same people if you go back.
right.
I mean, it could be conquest and stuff too, but
Yeah,
mix
but
of a little bit of everything.
right. But especially at that point, it's not like they were conquering the people. I don't know, small group of people that lived around here. It's not like anyway. But that was interesting. So some place names that come from the Tongva people. Tongva is one of them, the highest peak in Glendale. But you guys recognize the other ones around here, like Tahunga, Cahuenga, Topanga Canyon,
I'm getting a certain pattern here.
right?
A lot of land with NGA, basically.
But there's also like Azusa.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I
What is
forget how them-
Sepulveda? Is that a Spanish word?
It is. It's, and I think they're actually Spanish. Not. It goes all the way back to Spanish landowners.
Oh, Sepulveda does.
Yeah, as far as I remember.
Verdugo, that's probably Spanish.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
Adams, that's Spanish, right?
Yep. Chevy Chase.
Adams.
Chevy Chase.
Glendale. Most ridiculous name. We've talked about that on this podcast,
Like
but
Glendale?
that Glendale literally, the
Means
word
the same thing
Glen and the
twice.
word Dale both mean valley.
Yeah, you know how do you know the story about how it was named that, right? Like
Yeah, it was a vote.
local residents like sent in like names to the local newspaper when they were like incorporating.
Yeah.
And like half of what is Glendale, or no, what became Glendale, I guess, was like something called Tropico or Tropicana or something.
Tropical.
Yeah.
That got annexed later, but that's like the
It's
weird
like the
southern part of
parts,
town.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that was interesting. I had had a good time doing that.
And it was probably named that because they were growing oranges, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Verdugo
There's an
would have
Orange
been a good
Street.
name. There is. There's Orange Grove streets all over LA. Yep.
Cool.
So, you guys got anything else? Oh, you want to hear something else trivia related? I forgot to mention in my hair actually.
Yeah.
From our pub trivia the other night, I was really proud that we got all of these. It was a bonus question. It was to list all 10 presidents,
Wow.
not including. Wow.
No, I mean, listing 10 things, that's
Oh.
already like a big ask.
So it was not including, I think, George W. Bush and Obama, who served full 2 terms,
Consecutive, I think, right?
full consecutive
Oh, there's only
2
been
terms.
10.
Yeah. Well, because it also doesn't count
Oh, shit.
FDR,
Why not?
because he served more than 2 consecutive.
But within those, there was 2. There was
but
two
that wasn't
consecutives.
what the question was.
Okay, all right.
There's
Who served
specifically 2.
exactly
Yeah, yeah.
2 full?
Yeah.
Consecutive. Yeah.
So they had to be elected into office.
Fuck, man, I'd have to like do like math with numbers and stuff. 'Cause
And
I don't
we-
even know who served 2. Well, Reagan did. That's probably one.
Well,
of them,
and
right?
we got all of them, by the way. Well, you can start from the beginning. But,
Fuck yeah, I don't know those early ones at all.
well, what helped me was the tutoring in U.S. history because there was a
That's
period.
exactly what you learned. That's one of the questions on the AV test. I think.
Well, yeah, you could start later on. So we got Clinton,
Oh yeah,
Reagan.
forgot about Clinton.
Clinton and Reagan, and then
not Carter, not Ford, not Nixon. Who's before that?
Johnson.
Johnson, maybe. Well,
No.
no, he like took over for JFK.
Right.
So was that his first term?
Yeah, but it was, so he didn't do a full 2 terms.
What happens if you take over as vice president? Do you get then 2 elections, or are you
No,
you
you-
using one up?
No, I think yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how
Okay,
it
so
works.
not Johnson, not JFK. Fuck, who's before JFK? Like Eisenhower or something?
Mhm.
He
And I
might
think,
have done 2.
yeah, I think he did.
Who's before that? Truman? I don't know.
No, Truman took over for FDR, so not him.
So wait, who's between Truman and Johnson? And JFK. Is that the next one?
Eisenhower, we already said.
Oh fuck, I keep mixing them up. Yeah, not FDR. Oh, the presidents of the 20s, man. I don't even know.
So not
I think there was
Hoover,
one
not
of each.
Coolidge, but Wilson did.
Oh, Wilson. Yeah. Well, I didn't know he did 2, but basically
He did.
those 3 in the 20s didn't.
Wilson did 2, and I think Taft did 2, as far as I remember.
Oh.
Ara really helped in this too.
Yeah.
What about Roosevelt, the first one?
No, he took over when
Oh,
McKinley.
from McKinley,
yeah.
right? Oh shit. Man, there was a lot more like assassinations back then.
There were 2. Yeah. Oh, Nodger's on Team McKinley. Wow, he's wearing a
Oh,
shirt.
He's literally
Dude, he's
wearing
super
a
into
McKinley
it.
shirt.
Wow. Yeah, some anarchists like shot him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
then-
tried to read about why somebody tried to kill McKinley, and it was like very like specific to the time, and I was like, I just mostly don't get it. But I remember it was like some anarchist.
What was that? McKinley? Yeah, but dude, the other guy that was shot, who was it? Garfield?
Who didn't die or something?
No, who did die? Because there were 2 in the late 19th century who died.
Oh, really? Oh, fuck. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and he was shot because of some really specific like insider political thing. It was like about appointments.
Oh, maybe I confused the 2 stories then. I don't even know.
So and then we got the guy who's the guy that had 2 non-consecutive terms.
Cleveland.
So he doesn't count because he
2
said.
non-consecutive. Yeah.
So damn, we stopped counting. but-
Yeah. I mean, there's like a bunch of in that
So-
era,
and then
like
there's-
post Civil War. It's like one big haze. I
Well,
don't
there's
even know these
Grant.
guys.
Grant definitely
do
served 2 terms, full 2 terms. Johnson didn't. Obviously,
Lincoln
he
didn't.
came in for Lincoln. Lincoln didn't. And then the ones before that, George Washington.
He did.
Yeah, Jefferson. And then
Jackson, maybe.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then the 2 in the era of good feelings, which is like a politically like stable era of like unity, not really any political parties, were Monroe and Madison. Those are ones that I would not have really known before tutoring these guys. But anyway, we got all 10 of them. I feel like we said more than 10 right now.
Maybe, yeah. Hey, do you know what else I read about this week? Do you know about like the grand corrupt bargain of, I don't know, fucking 1828 or something?
The corrupt bargain? Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
When that got Adams
Yeah, I
into
never
office.
knew about that.
John
Did we
Quincy.
learn about that in school?
Yeah, I'm sure we did, and I
got
talked
to
about it
relearn
with
it?
my students. Yeah, because nobody really won the electoral college vote, and he made a deal, made this guy Secretary of State, and they voted for him.
Yeah, Henry Clay.
Yeah, and
I
Jackson
remember him
and
as
his
a figure from our classes. He was like a senator or something.
he was huge in that era.
Yeah.
He was the great compromiser, right?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure that's his nickname. But yeah, that was a corrupt bargain, and Jackson and his cronies really hated it.
Yeah, but then they got their chance afterwards too.
Yeah, Jackson really swept through there. The Democrats did, Democratic Republicans, as they were known.
Yeah. Cool.
Dope.
Speaking of presidents, I think that's the one category we're gonna leave out, or are we leaving out?
But
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
we cannot go on before I correct something from last week. I
Oh,
haven't
that's right.
been able to fucking sleep for a week.
Bob's been up
What
for
happened?
fucking like 170 hours.
Did you say something slightly wrong last episode?
Completely wrong. Well, I said, bucolic's not a word, but bucolic is absolutely a word.
Yeah, no, because you said that it was a word though.
No, he
Okay.
said specifically that it wasn't.
Oh,
He said
first-
colic is a word.
Yeah, colic
He
is
kept
a
saying
word.
that colic is a word.
But
Well-
bucolic is also a word, but it's completely unrelated
to
to
buccula.
either of those. So buccula was the chin, which actually means cheek in Latin. But if you guys remember, it gets its name from the chin strap
Yeah.
of Roman helmets. But do you guys know what bucolic is?
Yeah, I feel like we looked this up, or maybe I looked it up independently after. It's
Well,
like,
no, I mentioned it after because I remember right after we
I
stopped
see.
recording.
That's why I'm confused. Tell us what it means.
Do you remember what it means?
It was like pastoral or something like that.
Exactly, it is pastoral. So I'm just going to read this etymology.com section on it.
Sure.
So it means pastoral, relating to country life or the affairs and occupations of a shepherd, specifically a shepherd.
Okay.
Because, so we get it through, we have first used 1610s, earlier from bucolico, from the 1500s, then from Latin bucolicus, from Greek bucolikos, which means pastoral role. So where it comes from Greek is the Proto-Indo-European root guo. I don't even know if that's the right way to pronounce that.
I don't know if we don't know the pronunciation. I think
Well, because it actually
GWOU or something.
because okay, never mind then.
Well, whatever. Right? In
So
any
yeah,
case.
GWOU. So it comes from bous in Greek, which means cow. BOUS.
Maybe related to like bovine or something.
Oh, there you go, perfect. Which also, and then the rest of the word kolos, meaning tending. It's related to the Latin colere, till the ground, cultivate, all that. So yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Bucolic means
It is a word.
pastoral.
People.
I feel like we've heard that other places, and it just sounds weird. It does sound like a disease.
Yeah, I know. I've definitely felt like I've heard that word. I didn't really know what it meant, but now we do.
Bucolic, adjective.
Yep.
There it is. Bobber has corrected himself. He may sleep.
Yeah, you can go back to sleep, Bob.
I'm gonna pass out, man. Fucking die.
When do you start like tripping? If you don't sleep it for like 36 hours or something?
Probably.
You start
That
like
would be
hallucinating.
brutal.
You start like after like one day, but it gets really bad after a couple. Dude, nobody's been able to like go more than like 4 days or something. You go insane.
I mean, yeah, you would just fall asleep. I figure.
Like people have tried like
Maybe
set the
maybe
record.
like prisoners that are being tortured.
Yeah, can you imagine that? Jeez.
Just fall asleep while you're being tortured.
Yeah,
You're
while there's
"Fuck
like
it."
heavy metal
Yeah.
music playing in the background and shit.
Guantanamo.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm sure the scientists at Guantanamo and like Abu Ghraib like have some really good data on that.
But I did hear about a guy that tried to set the record, and like he started going crazy pretty soon.
Not permanently, just kind of until he slept.
I didn't follow up.
Oh, okay.
I would imagine though, if you go for long enough, you'll probably do some permanent damage.
But that's so
Maybe, yeah.
crazy. Like sleep. Like why? You know, why do we need sleep so much? That seems so crazy to me.
I guess you don't really have to be active all the time. So it's better to like, have a very active period and a not very active period.
Well, but your brain is still active during that time,
yeah, I guess. I don't know.
which is the crazy thing. It's just a thing we need.
Well, I mean, it's being active, but I mean, I've heard or read that it's kind of more of like a decompressing, like
Right.
just letting.
the brain.
Yeah, the brain is like it's not being active in the way that we're active right
Right.
now. Right.
It's a different type
like
of activity.
The other thing is like, we learn about this, and I'm going to botch this from not remembering it well, but there's like the sympathetic and parasympathetic
Oh
nervous system.
and your sympathetic. I mean, your parasympathetic has to keep going, or else you'd stop breathing. Right.
Yeah, or maybe I'm remembering the wrong thing. I don't know, but basically what I want to say is that when you're sleeping, your digestive system is a lot more active.
Oh.
So you use a lot
I
of your
see.
energy to actually like create new energy for the day, and you can't really do a lot of stuff.
Right.
So I think that might be related to why you have to like actually have a period where you're like generating like readily available energy for your activities.
So is parasympathetic the
I might have
system in your stomach? Because
I don't know. I might have confused the two different systems. I'm not sure. It might not be sympathetic and parasympathetic, or it might be. But there's a set of two things that operate like sort of in that way.
Because there's this understanding now, or people, I guess doctors are understanding it better, like how much your gut is like.
Yeah, it controls your behavior almost,
Right.
or it's responsible for your
Right.
behavior.
So it's like almost a second nervous system or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
It's like a second brain. That was like a
oh,
big
second
thing.
brain. Yeah. There you go.
Big part of like my last lab job was basically that idea.
Yeah, there was also this Ask Reddit thread that I was reading about where someone was asking like, why does it take so much to like physically exercise to burn calories when you like automatically burn calories like 2,000 a day, just kind of by
Doing
just
nothing?
being
By
yeah
living,
doing
yeah.
nothing, just because like there's so much shit your body is doing that you're not
Right.
like even
Aware
thinking
of
about.
that. Uh-huh.
But then it's like it's very used to trying to expend as little energy as possible to actually physically
Right.
do things.
I mean, yeah, like our like, you know, species and like the, I don't know, the machinations of how we survive were based on like
Long distance.
context of like scarcity, basically,
Right.
right?
Right.
And now we can just fucking have whatever we want all the time,
But I mean, that's the
and so we're very wasteful.
thing with the human brain, though, is it does take a lot of energy to keep
Yeah.
it going.
Yeah.
Yup.
Cool. So, on that note, should we get started?
Let's do it. So we're gonna jump around in subjects today.
Najee, let us know.
Yeah. So we're back to our boy David Fickes. He
Yeah.
does. I guess we're gonna answer his question. This is the best trivia book.
Yeah.
So far, this one's been a really good one.
But since we're kind of trying to not stay too much to a category this time, we're gonna cycle through all of them. So we're gonna pick one from each, skipping miscellaneous category and U.S. presidents.
Yeah.
Well, we
since
can
we-
just do 11. Are you guys okay with that?
I'm okay with that, but you know, we did spend enough
Yeah,
time
we
on
did.
US
We talked.
presidents.
Yeah, we talked about presidents a
Okay,
bunch,
yeah.
and
No more
miscellaneous like
presidents.
whatever.
That's enough presidents.
It works out. There's 10 now.
Until Bernie Sanders. Then we can get back to presidents.
No more presidents unless it's Bernie Sanders.
who's not a president.
No, but he's saying after Trump there should be no more.
Well, it depends
Yes.
on what time frame you're in, right? You could say he's not a president, but if you're in like, 2021, then he is. So it depends.
But then
All
when
right,
you're in
let's see how well this
2022,
ages.
he isn't again.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right, here we go. Animals first category. Who won last time? Not that it matters, but I think
I
it was
did.
Bob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was your first one of the season? I don't know.
Yep. We
Might have
only
been,
had
yeah.
3. Yeah.
Yeah,
fourth
it's 2 to 1.
I heard one of those 2 miscellaneous ones. I remember.
Yeah.
Chase.
You remember quite exactly.
We never looked up if the Chase guy was related
No,
to
we
Chase
didn't.
Bank.
I was going to, but
You'll have to
totally
tune in
forgot.
for the next episode, guys.
All right. First question number 1. It is 0-0. First category is animals. I'll let you guys absorb that information.
Okay.
Get your brain ready for this category. What color is octopus blood?
So I know it's either blue or green.
Ah, fuck, I'm wrong then.
And I know instead of hemoglobin, they have this thing I think called like cyanoglobin.
Oh, really?
So-
Well, that would point to green or blue then. Yeah.
So is it
Or
green or
cyan.
blue?
You should have said cyan, man. No, you shouldn't have.
So what did you write?
I don't know. I had no idea. I don't know how I was supposed to know this, but I was thinking blue, but I wrote white. I don't know.
White.
I don't
That's
know for what
crazy.
reason.
Yeah, dude, what the
I was
fuck?
thinking of like an
like
octopus.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that what you were thinking of? that was the question.
No.
All
wait.
right, bro.
I was thinking of. I should clarify. I was thinking of octopus like sashimi, and I was like, it's kind of white. Maybe that means the blood is. I have no fucking idea. I wrote white.
So I
What did
don't
you write,
I don't know
blue or
what
green?
I wrote blue.
Cyan is more blue than it is green, I think. So.
Okay, I'm banking on.
It is cyan. No, it's blue.
All right.
Oh,
It is
fuck.
blue. So
Already behind.
apparently, our and most other animals' iron-rich protein is red, I guess, but octopus has copper-rich protein that carries
that's
oxygen,
interesting.
Oh, okay.
so it makes it
That's
blue.
pretty
It's crazy. Like the Statue of Liberty is all green because it's made of
copper.
copper. Mars is all red because it's iron heavy.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh, that
Well,
makes
like
sense.
rust, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Iron gets oxidized or something. I don't know
All
what
right,
that
nice, Bob.
means. Thanks.
Pretty good. I guess these are.
Oh, and the other
alphabetical.
thing, I've recently read this on Reddit too. There's one other type of animal that has like green blood because of another,
Oh, different.
because not copper
Metal or
or
whatever.
iron. Yeah, it's something else, and I don't remember what it was. Yeah,
I'm getting killed in Learn League this season so far, man.
dude,
it's
it's
fucking brutal.
yeah. We're in the same run though, And
Oh, you guys gonna play each other?
It's the worst.
Yeah,
dude.
we will play each other. Though.
I fucking hate being at that level because people seem to get every single fucking answer.
Yeah, it's tough, dude.
So there was a question. I guess I misread it, but there was a question about something about a light, a substance that provides
yeah,
light.
man. I thought I had a really good answer for that too.
Well, I thought it was asking for the element. I wrote phosphorus because I
it
know
did.
that's like produces a bright light
man.
when like being burned.
Phosphorescence.
But I guess it's phosphorescence. I must have misread.
Yeah,
or
you know
I
what
thought it
I
was the
put,
element.
and my thinking after the fact, I realized is totally backwards. I was thinking of something that's like, I don't know, lights up in that way or whatever, and I wrote radiance, and I was like, oh, that totally makes
that's
sense,
cool.
like radium.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But
Yeah, I kind of never connected the.
yeah, but it's more likely that the element was named after the adjective or the idea.
I don't know.
So,
Could find out. Some etymology right there.
yep.
All right. I guess we're going in alphabetical order in terms of category.
Yeah.
So arts is up. Question number 2. Bauer's up 1-0. How many movements traditionally make up a concerto?
So
Yeah.
I feel like a
Parasympathetic? Sympathetic?
I feel like a symphony is like 5.
And a parasymphony is 4.
Yeah. I don't know, because as far as I remember, like most of those, like Beethoven's 9th is like 5.
Yeah.
Is that right,
no
Naju?
idea.
I believe so.
So I wrote 3.
I wrote 3 as well. I was just thinking of like the 3 acts of a play, and I thought
Yeah.
maybe it's similar. I don't know.
And, just less than 5.
yeah.
So movements actually meant how many movements the musician makes.
Oh, so
It's way more.
So
so there's like at least like
millions
6.
Do you remember what a concerto is, either of you?
Yeah, it's when
It's like
people
a
play
Italian
together.
concert. Yeah, or that.
They play in concert. I forget. Is it like one instrument accompanied by other?
Accompanied by the orchestra.
Oh, okay.
It's like a solo.
Because we did talk about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Oh,
there's
I
like a
didn't know that.
soloist. Yeah. There's like the cello concerto, piano concerto.
That makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
But there's still accompanying music. But
There's
one of them's the star of the show.
yeah, exactly. And you are both right. It is 3.
Nice.
Oh, nice. What's an etude?
It's
It's a piece. Can I
In
can I
French,
say?
it just means study.
Yeah,
That's
all
literally
it is.
what it is,
That's all it
yeah.
is. It's like Chopin was famous for writing a bunch of etudes because it was just like
He
these.
was a teacher or something.
Not really. I'm sure a lot of them were great composers, but it was more just like he had all these ideas that he didn't necessarily want to or care to develop into like these full-fledged huge
Okay.
pieces. So he just like had these short.
And
things.
are they like a single instrument, or it doesn't
Yeah,
matter?
it's piano. Yeah.
Oh,
Their
okay.
etudes are generally written for piano because that was like the main instrument, but there are etudes for other instruments too.
Oh, okay.
So it's almost like an exercise,
I
but
see.
the great famous ones are so kind of crazy and complex because they're these composers were on that level that they're
the easy
considered
exercises aren't going to be remembered. Right?
yeah. So I mean, and then they didn't even write easy exercises, right?
Right.
Because Chopin was like a virtuoso or whatever. So like now at this point, people perform them in a concert, in a program,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Even though they're studies, they're
I
still
see.
like on that level of sophistication that people want to hear them and
Okay. Sure.
perform them and study them on that level.
Both got it.
Both got it. Is 1-2 Barber's lead. Favorite category is next. His story. History.
I prefer history.
Or Hickstory with an X.
Or I prefer
Six
my
stories?
my
What is that?
story. My story.
Mystery.
Mystery is
What?
mystery. No. HXSTORY.
What the fuck is that?
It's gender neutral.
That's not a Oh, I guess that's why.
I actually, ran into somebody on Twitter actually making like that defense. Somebody being like, history is not a gendered term. It has this
No, it's not.
different etymology. And the other person was like, well, it sounds like it, so I don't mind Hickstory or whatever. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah, real things don't matter. It's just how you feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trump 2020.
We just
Trump
lost
2020,
half our
feels over
listeners.
reels.
Nice. You should pitch that to him. Let's do it.
Okay. Category 3, history. Question number 3.
Okay.
Good King Wenceslas.
Wenceslas?
Wenceslas.
Don't know what it is.
Yeah, I knew I was going to read that wrong. Wenceslas was king of what country?
Okay, you're gonna have to spell it. Sorry.
Wen, W-E-N, C-E-S-L-A-S. Wenceslas.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was saying I've definitely heard that name before.
Yeah, because you read it out of my mouth.
And I know it's something like in Central or Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Meher, what do you think?
I was in that neighborhood. Yeah. You know what? It just, I don't know for what reason, it just feels Polish to me. So I went with Poland.
Me too. I wrote the same thing.
Oh,
but
you did? Okay.
I kind of also like the other places I was thinking, but you know they're not modern day countries, so I didn't write them down. But like Bavaria, Bohemia,
Prussia.
yeah, which is more or less Poland now, and a part of Russia. But we both wrote Poland because it's totally sounds like it, right? It sounds like a Polish
I mean,
name.
it would be events. I think W's are pronounced V's though. But anyway.
Venceslavs.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. It just looks Polish to me for some reason. I can't explain. What was it not?
It was not Polish. It is current Czech Republic.
Oh, Bohemia.
We're
Bohemia.
kind of close.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bobber did say
it actually
Bohemia.
says Bohemia.
Yeah, it says Bohemia.
Okay, not quite Polish, but
So
not
it
too far
does.
away.
Yeah, I should have known that. I like to check stuff.
Yeah.
Pilsen. So let's guess what's the next category after history.
World geography.
No,
Well,
that's
it's
way too many. It's
order, man.
alphabetical.
What the fuck?
Oh, is it alphabetical? I didn't even know that.
I mentioned that earlier.
Wait, what was it?
Is there-
History after history?
I know there's a literature one.
That could be it, yeah. Is
No.
that it? I go with that.
Tis.
All right.
Question 4. Literature.
All right.
What Stephen King novel features a villain who sometimes goes by the alias Bob Gray?
All right. So, Maher, what Stephen King novels can you think of?
Honestly,
I was, like,
I'm
started
not even
drawing
totally
one.
sure, but I remember there was movies based on the movies like Carrie and Cat Sanctuary, and I don't really know the other ones.
Cat Sanctuary.
Isn't it what it's called?
Pet Cemetery.
Cemetery. Oh man, so I'm way off.
That had to be some kind of joke, man. Please don't tell me that was what you really thought.
That's actually my answer, and I was like, I think that was a movie.
Did you write Cat Sanctuary? Oh, God.
So it was Pet Cemetery, was it? Anyway, I was like, I don't know who the villain is in that, so I'll just write that.
Cat Sanctuary is the prequel. That's where they go before the cemetery.
But I only otherwise know Carrie, and then there's this other show I've been watching recently, The Outsider, that's based on Stephen King novel, and that was and that was out of I don't fucking know what else he wrote.
So I've heard people talk about Bob Gray kind of recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have no idea. So I'm pretty sure Pet Cemetery, the bad guys are like the undead pets. So
Mostly cats,
That
though, right?
cat
Mostly
named
cats.
Bob Gray, dude.
so it could have been
I
a
just
little.
wanted this question to be
Gray
over with,
kid.
basically.
Well, the other ones I was thinking of, which definitely.
Sorry, maybe that was my fault because you're like, shh.
Najee was talking the whole time I was trying to think.
Yeah, seriously. Well, the other ones that I thought of, which like, there's no way this is the answer. There's Misery,
Oh yeah,
I
that's,
don't
yeah,
even know what
that's-
that is.
which is like the bad guy's a woman. Misery's like it's
You don't
supposed to
know
be like a little autobiographical.
No, really.
It was the one with God, now I
Bob
don't remember
Gray is
her
like
name.
some publisher who doesn't like him or something.
Dolores Claiborne. I forget what her name is. That actress.
Kathy Bates?
Kathy Bates, there
that
you go.
one.
Um,
You know about that movie, right?
I know what the hell is that? Was
Her-
Misery the name of the book it's based off of or
It's,
something?
it's the
maybe.
name of both, yeah, I think.
but James Caan is the author, and it's supposed to be autobiographical. But yeah, it's like she's an obsessed fan, and he broke his like leg, got into a car accident or something. She like basically keeps him hostage. Is the
Oh.
story. But I don't think her name is Bob Gray. The other one I was thinking of,
It's Baberta.
well, Well, there's also Shawshank Redemption, and I
is
don't.
that Stephen King?
Yeah, it
I
is.
vaguely feel like I know.
If it takes place in Maine.
There's also
Stephen
that
King.
famous tower, the Dark Tower.
Oh yeah,
There's a movie called
That's
The Mist
true.
that was Stephen King. There's so
I
many
have no
movies.
idea. Yeah, I
There's
know a
so
lot of
many
shit they made
movies,
after
yeah.
his
well there was
So
there was
many
Thinner.
movies.
Do you
Yeah,
guys remember
Thinner
Thinner?
was
I do
Stephen
remember
King.
that.
But I feel like the bad guy's the
The
gypsy
demon
woman.
inside.
That woman that cursed him.
Yeah.
I guess Carrie. That's him. I,
I
don't
think
remember.
that's-
Yeah, I think
And
that's
then
him
there's
too.
the one with God, the one he directed that was so bad, and
Oh.
apparently he was coked out of his mind when he directed it, and like it was such a mess. It was the one where all the machines come to life and start attacking people. You guys might have seen it. It's an '80s movie.
I don't know. Maybe.
Emilio Estevez is in it.
I didn't know he directed anything. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's the only
I have
movie
no
he
idea.
directed. There's the Langoliers. You guys remember that?
Is that the one where there's monsters under the ground or something?
No, that's the one.
Tremors.
Oh,
You
that's
think it's
Tremors.
Tremors?
They
No.
end with the same two letters.
Langoliers is this crazy one where, and they made like a TV movie, which like me and my cousins watched, and we loved it. It's this weird thing where like these people on an airplane like kind of like go into a Terran time, and like everyone that was asleep like survives it, and there's these things called it's kind of convoluted. They call them Langoliers because one crazy dude like saw these monsters when he was a kid, and he called them that. But it's
Okay.
basically about like time catching up and like eating like time,
Fuck.
like eating everything. Yeah, it's
Yep.
crazy.
That's what it does.
So
Well,
it's not
wasn't
Shawshank Redemption.
What was it? Wasn't there some dog movie too? Kaiju or something like that?
Oh,
Cujo. Yeah, was that Stephen King?
Kaiju is Pacific Rim, but yeah, I think so. I could be wrong.
I feel like this is like really like a culturally big thing, and I'm completely out of the loop on like Stephen King stuff.
But see, there's so many that like.
But you're like
we just
very
know
out of the loop with the kind of the horror genre in general.
Yeah,
right?
Right.
You're not
Yes.
like into that at all.
Man, I gotta tell you about this show though. Can I for a second?
Shawshank Redemption
it's
is horror.
running on HBO. It's called The Outsider.
Yeah,
And I saw the previews, and I was like, "Oh, this looks like really interesting." It's like a kind of like a suspensey, like detective story.
Mhm.
And I'm just gonna go ahead and like spoil some parts of it, like very mildly, but like it's just like this supernatural thing. And I was like, I'm really like just totally losing my interest at this point, even though it's like actually like really well made and really well directed and acted. And it's just like, okay, we're talking about monsters again. I don't know.
yeah.
I guess just not my thing, really.
So he did do a couple that were not supernatural things,
Yeah, I just figured maybe this is one of them because I knew it was based on one of his things.
but it's still sort of horror-y, right?
Suspensey, thrillery.
Suspense is like, yeah. I mean, like Misery is like it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it's like a more psychological horror than monsters.
Yeah, which
Right.
is cool and interesting. Yeah.
So it's Shawshank. That's fucking.
Yeah, that's not supernatural at all.
No, but what's interesting, you know, Red in Shawshank. Yeah, why he's called that? Have we talked about
He's
this
a
before?
warlock. Fucking knew it. He's a million years old.
Yes. That's how he can get you anything.
He's a cat from the cat sanctuary.
You feel safe there. The
Well-
prison is just a sanctuary, and they're all cats.
So the novel, it takes place in Maine. So there
Which
aren't
one are we
really.
talking about? Shawshank or?
Yeah,
Uh,
I think every one of his books does. But
Yeah, but you're
it-
talking about Shawshank Redemption.
So there aren't really that many black people in Maine. So
Uh-huh.
the guy's name is Red because in the book he's an Irish guy with red hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I do.
Famously, Morgan Freeman, also an Irish guy
Right.
with red hair.
Well, and they did do that Family Guy. Like, do you guys remember that? They did 3.
Did they make a joke about that?
They did like parodies of 3. I think it was Stephen King books because they did one Shawshank and they did one Misery. I don't remember the third one.
Okay.
Anyway, I wrote down It. Wasn't that Stephen King?
Yeah, I was surprised it took you guys that long to get to that book because that's the answer.
Oh,
man, I'm
nice.
getting blown out. So it wasn't Cat Sanctuary. It was It.
No, unfortunately not Cat
But you've gotten
Sanctuary.
every single one so far.
No,
we
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 didn't get the first.
Poland. Never mind.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't Poland.
Yeah, never mind.
I did say it, so
But
I'm
I'm
going to
behind
give myself
two.
a +1 pride point.
So 3-1, is it?
Yep.
Okay.
+2 pride points for pronouncing it.
Oh yeah.
Wenceslas.
Good on that.
All right. 5. What comes after literature?
Yes. Question number 5.
Music.
Music.
Is that even a category? I don't know.
I think it is.
Movies.
Movies.
Would
It
come
is
before.
miscellaneous. Now we're skipping that.
Skipping
It is movies.
Okay,
It
movies.
looks like we've never done movies.
I'm pretty sure we did.
We might have done it from a different book.
Yeah, I don't think we've done this because I didn't mark it.
We did movies online one time.
We
No,
did.
That might have been.
So okay, tell me if this question
maybe
sounds
we could do a
familiar.
movie episode since we talk about movies so much.
Because I don't think at least I'd never read it because I didn't mark it and I don't recognize the question. So
Okay.
question 5, if you recognize it, then we can go to a different one. But movies,
I
What-
recognize it if Bob knows it.
what well-known actor made his film debut in Critters 3 in 1991?
So yeah, this is not going to be something this guy's well known for. I was trying to
I don't
think
think
of
so.
who started acting in movies in the early 90s. 'Cause this guy was on TV in the late 80s. The person that I put down.
I didn't even think about. I thought this is probably a children's movie, and if it's 91,
It's not, dude. I'm pretty sure
it's
it's like
not?
a horror type of gross.
I was thinking somebody who's our age, basically. So I tried to think of that. Somebody who would start as a child
mean, it
actor
could
back
be.
in 91. I don't know.
Could be.
What did you write, or what were you thinking?
So I wrote George Clooney. He started getting in movies around the early
early?
90s, and I'm pretty sure he was in like a couple of TV shows in the late 80s. And I don't think we know this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't know, but you could have guessed it. Maybe.
Yeah.
I probably picked somebody too young, but I was thinking who's about our age that would have been a child actor at that age. Maybe I wrote Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know. He might have been.
I
in some
think-
No,
kids
dude,
movie
Jake
back then.
Gyllenhaal was actually in a few movies. For example, City Slickers, I think he was in.
That was 90s though, right? Or was
Yeah, I
that
think
like
it was- I think it
late
was then.
80s, but I'm pretty sure he didn't make his debut there.
91. Yeah, I don't know.
But I could be wrong.
I think the age might line up though. It's Leo.
Oh, there you go.
91, really? Oh,
That makes
fuck.
sense. I mean, he's a little older
When's
than
that
we are.
Gilbert Grape movie? When did that
It's like
come out? That was
93
early
or
90s,
something.
right?
93
No,
maybe.
yeah, early
I
94.
thought about him too. Yeah, no, he's a little
I
bit older
totally
than us,
didn't think
though.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he
Is
must have been. in
Gyllenhaal
something
really
in-
our age? You know that for a fact.
I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
I just look at him and I think he
He's-
probably is.
He's about. He might be a little bit older too.
Yeah, I thought about Leo, but I was like, I'm sure he was in stuff in the 80s, but I guess not.
He was
I
on
thinking
TV
the
too.
Gilbert Grape movie, and I was like, that was like early 90s.
I'm pretty sure Leonardo DiCaprio was in a couple TV shows as well.
He was in
wrong.
the one with Kirk Cameron. What is it?
Yeah, right.
He was like the neighbor kid in
Growing Pains.
Growing Pains. Yeah, I think so, right? And that was probably 80s. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have just been early 90s.
Fuck, I should have just written Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, you should
He
have written
crossed my mind.
You should have written the right answer, but
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's where I'm always messing up, man.
you guys want to guess the next category from movies?
Music?
I don't think music is a category, is it?
It is not.
No,
Ninjas.
I don't.
Science and nature.
All the way to S. Okay, science and
Damn.
nature. Let's hear it.
It's question number 6. What scale is used to measure wind speed?
Oh my god. So long-time listeners will remember
That's what I was thinking too.
that an instrument used by amateur meteorologists to measure wind is an anemometer.
Yep.
I wrote the anemometric scale.
That's literally all I could think of, but I know it as the aneno scale. So
All right,
It's,
what
it's
is it?
funny how you guys both know this thing that doesn't exist differently. It is the Beaufort scale.
Buford.
Buford.
Yeah. Okay, so
Oh
I've
my
heard
God,
this
I
before,
haven't heard
man.
of it.
I gotta know these stupid things.
That's just for professional wind speed measurement.
yeah, then we're talking about amateur. I've heard of the Beaufort or Buford scale.
It's bow like French bow. Fort.
What the fuck is
Beaufort.
French bow?
Beaufort.
How do you spell it?
Beau.
Oh, you call it Buford.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. There's a city called Beaufort, but it's spelled differently, I think. All right, I got 3 questions to try to catch up.
4.
Wait, what question? Wasn't that 6? So 7, 8, 9.
10.
Jesus Christ. Go back to your cat sanctuary.
Cut that part out. What you mean?
God damn, here's the one that edits these.
Yeah, make
cut out all
myself
these
look
things.
really good.
I can't believe I looked over and you actually wrote cat sanctuary.
You know, I just didn't think twice about
I
it.
thought
I
it was
like,
a
yeah.
joke when he said it because he was like, I thought he was upset with the question. So he's like,
Yeah.
the stupid cat sanctuary movie.
Maybe that's why subconsciously though. All right. After science and nature is television.
Well,
right?
you can easily take the win, take the lead.
Yeah, possibly. We'll see.
I think that
I
happened
don't know
last
about I don't know
game.
about easily, but
Well, last game I was behind.
yeah, you came back. Well, it's been 3-1 for a while here. Oh, sorry, I haven't said the score, audience members.
Still
It is
3-1.
3-1. Going into question 7, which is not whatever category Barbara just said.
I
I
said
didn't say
television.
anything.
Oh, you said television. That is not television.
Oh, what is
It is sport.
Oh, sport.
So
Just
yeah,
one.
Meher's
Just
definitely
one.
gonna get this.
Well, no, dude. They always ask about like wind sailing and shit like that. I don't know.
And nanometric sailing.
It's not amateur sport, Barbara.
Sorry.
It's called Buford sailing if
Yeah.
you're a pro.
Okay, here we go. Question 7, sports. What was Mildred Didrikson Zahira's nickname? Zaharias.
Zaharias?
Yeah, Zaharias.
Didrikson
Didrikson Zaharias.
So, Meher, do you know this person?
I actually do know this one.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. So
You
I
bastard.
got a sport one.
So-
I hope I got it right. Yeah,
So Zaharias, I don't know where that comes from, but her first name was what?
Mildred.
No, there was another name before that, wasn't there?
Didrikson was the middle name.
Oh.
Oh, really? Okay.
that's
Maybe I didn't get it then.
Mildred Didrikson Zaharias.
It might have been like a hyphenated last name. Is it a hyphenated last
There
name?
is no hyphen.
God,
So
Meher,
Didrikson is usually not a middle name. It's usually a last name. So it might-
right, it could be her like maiden name. Well, going off of that, and fuck you, Meher, you always get these sports ones.
I don't.
You said you knew it. So just going off the German sounding name, I called her the Aryan Stallion.
What? You might as well just call her the Nazi queen.
Nazi
Not all
queen.
Aryans are Nazis.
Yeah, how dare you?
So there's a somewhat famous female athlete whose last name was Didrikson. I don't know about Zaharias. She might
That's
have dropped
probably
that.
her.
So I think she was a golfer, and maybe did some other sports like Olympic shit. I don't know, something like that. Her name was Babe Didrikson, I think. So that's the nickname I put. I hope I'm
Nice.
remembering that right.
Babe
Sounds
is
right.
correct.
Okay.
Apparently, the side note is one of the greatest female athletes of all time. So maybe she was like a multi-sport.
I think so, from what
athlete
I
kind of
vaguely
thing.
remember. I think she actually competed against men in golf, at least, if I remember right.
I mean, she used to be called the Aryan Stallion, and that kind of fell out of favor after the war.
Became kind of
She seemed to know a lot about this woman, but not her real nickname.
All right, let's go.
All right, television. Question 8. It is now 3-2. My hair's back in it.
Yep.
Question number 8. Here we go. What was the Lone Ranger's real name?
Well, I know, isn't God? What was his sidekick's name?
Tonto.
Tonto.
I actually have no idea anything about Lone Ranger.
Kimosabi.
Except that his sidekick's
Yeah,
name.
those two little things are the only things I know.
What? Tonto and Kimosabi?
I don't know Kimosabi. That sounds like.
That's something Tonto would say.
Oh yeah. I
Also,
mean,
his
it's like a
horse-
Western thing, and they're like two dudes. And that's
His
basically
horse
all I
was
know.
famous, right? What's his horse's name?
I don't know. I guess this was like some movie or some TV show back in the day.
TV,
right? And
television.
it's like a Western kind of thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They're like outlaws or they're vigilantes or something. I don't know.
Something. They're
Yeah,
a
he's
duo.
a
There's
masked-
a duo.
He's a
Yeah.
masked rider. I mean, they made the movie recently with Johnny Depp playing Tonto. Super, what do you call it? Red face, I guess.
Wow, Bobber, wow.
What do you mean? Blackface is a thing. It's not racist when you say it.
Yeah, but we don't call them red.
Well, okay. Yellow face.
Native
That's
American
a thing,
face.
dude. People say yellow face.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when they're addressing Asian people, they say, "Hey, yellow face."
Oh wow.
That's what I get all the
podcast
time.
Does not endorse these views.
Hey, but they're famously like not too recent, I guess, but in Breakfast at Tiffany's, there was a famous yellow face, I guess,
Yeah.
where the guy plays
The Chinese butler.
I
with
think
the
Japanese neighbor, and then there was also more recently, which is kind of funny. I forget. Oh yeah, in the show Master of None, Aziz Ansari did. They had a whole thing about because his like Indian buddies They were talking about, hey, do you remember the movie? What was that robot movie from the 80s? No, nobody remembers. Anyway, there was somebody put in brown face because there was totally just a white dude
Being an Indian.
playing an Indian guy. Yeah.
Kind of like Ben Kingsley.
Oh,
Did he do that?
shit.
Oh, he was
Gandhi,
Gandhi.
yeah,
Gandhi.
and he fucking won for that.
He did.
He won the prize of the world.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know, I
Oh.
just-
Academy Award.
Ballon d'Or. Oh, okay.
But God, what is that movie? Johnny Five? I think that was it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
I think I remember the joke. I don't remember the movie. Or I remember this. It's in one of the early season, right? The first season Master of None episodes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I remember the story. I don't remember the movie.
Yeah, how upset those dudes were.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was actually watching. That's funny because somebody was in Armenian face in a show I was watching today.
No fucking way.
Well, not Armenian, but she was obviously not Armenian. But so I've been watching.
You gotta cast Angela Safarian.
Yeah, and only her. I was watching Master House of Lies, Showtime show.
Oh, the Tim Roth one or whatever.
No, that's called Lie to Me.
Oh, okay.
No, this is with Don Cheadle
Oh, I vaguely remember this. Yeah. What about
and Veronica Mars, whatever her name is.
Kristen Bell?
Bell, yeah.
Bell, yeah.
Well, I think there was a scene where this guy was like, oh, talking about a girl, like, he's like, oh, you fucking see her arms, man? You see her arms? Completely hairless. She's Armenian. Those motherfuckers are hairy.
Oh,
That was the
wow.
line. Yeah.
I denounced this show.
But she was obviously not an Armenian girl because her arms were so non-hairy. Just kidding. But anyway,
only
I,
parts of my arm are pretty hairy, honestly.
Yeah,
Just my
not your
forearms.
palms.
yeah, my palm is cool.
Like my bicep is pretty
Seriously,
hairless.
when you get up to the bicep, mine is hairless too.
Yeah.
We are Armenian, by the way, and we're
Just
wearing the
the-
Armenian face.
Not all of us.
Not just wearing Armenian face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's been doing
dare
that
you.
since high school.
Just for the podcast.
Yeah. Also, my palms are hairless. I don't know about yours.
Yeah, me too.
Do you guys see that Reddit gif of the black guy putting on sunscreen on his hands and bottom of his feet, and he just puts his palms and his feet up into
Oh,
the air
to
to
get
get
a
a
I
tan.
tan?
think I saw that now. I kind of get it.
What's that again?
You kinda got it.
He's tanning his palms.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you write? I have no idea.
Or I wrote Stinson because that was a type of like shoe or gun or something.
I wrote Wade because it sounds kind of westerny to me.
Yeah,
That's a
that
good
does
one.
Sound westerny, but I do remember.
And it could be a first name or a last name, right? So
Okay, so a
I
couple of
think.
years ago,
So Wade.
a couple of years ago, I did watch the movie, and I remember they actually mentioned his name a good amount, like his actual name,
Wade.
Wade. Yeah.
I don't know.
Huh. What is it?
John Reed.
I got one of the letters. Yeah.
Hey,
You got two of them. They're in the wrong place.
Oh,
They're both in the wrong place. But
actually, famously Jack Reed, the only American buried in the Kremlin.
Who's that? Who's Jack Reed?
Jack Reed is the main character, and they made the movie Reds. It was about him. He wrote 10 Days That Shook the World about the Russian Revolution. He was a communist and journalist that went to
Oh.
Russia from America,
Oh,
and he died over there. They buried him in the Kremlin.
cool.
all right, if I feel like
So,
both of
and
you
as
guys,
far as I understand, Jack is generally people named John.
Yeah,
It's a short name of
I
that.
kind of don't like that. I think people
Sorry,
should stop
man.
doing that.
Sorry, bro.
They have nothing to do with each other.
if I feel like you guys will both get this answer, should I skip the question?
If you
it's
deem
up
it to
it's
be
your
too
discretion,
easy.
Najman.
I mean, I fucking wrote Cat Sanctuary, so you never. know.
You're the master.
Well, but then this is U.S. geography. We're moving
You're
on
the
to.
master of
Oh, no,
quizzes.
that's the one we decided to skip, or that's
No.
No, that's the we're gonna skip presidents.
Okay, all right.
It's your discretion, man.
I'm going to just ask the question.
Okay.
Make you feel good about yourselves. Get some points.
Dope.
Tell us the score. 3-2.
It is 3-2. Going into question number 9.
All right.
U.S. geography. The Statue of Liberty stands on what island?
So what is it?
Yeah, you made me trip out because at first I thought it was easy. Then I really second guessed myself because the answer is in the question.
Yeah, I don't think it's Liberty Island.
I
dude.
wrote Liberty Island. I think that's what it's called, and I kind of don't like the question if that's the answer, but
I don't think that's what it's called, man. I feel like I've answered it that before and I got it wrong.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I
I
wrote-
might
I-
be wrong. It sounds like I in my brain it's like stored somewhere on a post-it that it's called Liberty Island, but maybe
Man,
that's
that was my
completely fucking
thought
wrong.
the entire time, and I was like, no, I've had this before, and it's not Liberty Island.
You're thinking no, it's not Ellis Island because that's kind of
No.
the trap. No, okay, no.
It's obviously not Ellis Island. That's a different
Yeah,
island.
I thought that was the trap of the question.
I just wrote Roosevelt Island. I know Roosevelts were big in New York, and I'm pretty sure it's not Liberty. So, Naj, what is it?
David Fickes says Liberty.
All right.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't like that question though, even though it helped me catch up.
Fuck, I mean, I could have
You
easily
can't
just written
have
that.
the answer in the question. You know, I think that's like a
Shit's
pretty important
Liberty
dis-
Island? God, I don't know. All right, whatever.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe I psyched you guys out too much from giving that preface before the question.
All right.
Yeah, maybe I got kind of psyched out for a while too. Especially at first, I was like, "Yeah, it's for sure this. I don't like it, but it's this." And then Bob was second guessing it. So
Yeah.
All right, here
I
goes
started
the
second-guessing.
tiebreaker. Let's
Last
see if someone
question.
gets it, or if one of you gets
hey,
it,
what
one
if
of you
what if
doesn't.
we're still tied? We'll do the 11th
We'll
question
do-
too, huh?
Yeah. The U.S. presidents.
All right.
We'll do We'll do presidents and then miscellaneous.
Okay. Go.
Question 10, world geography. What is the lowest average elevation continent?
Yeah, Najee was saying I double psyched myself out on the last one, and I totally did. Like, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
I've had this before, and then
You got to
like,
look out for the double psych, man.
something in my mind is like, it's not Liberty Island because you got it wrong before. Anyway, forget that question.
This
So
one I actually don't know, but
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure
I
it's
put it.
Antarctica.
Oh fuck! I didn't think of that. Fuck. I wrote Australia because I'm like,
That's
is
a
there
good
even
one.
any fucking mountains in
But
Australia?
I'm pretty sure most of Antarctica, because of the ice, is actually below sea level.
Oh, average lowest elevation. I was just thinking of fucking variance, but like up and down. You know, I was thinking which one's the most flat.
Well, that would probably be up and down would be like.
I was thinking of what's most flat, not necessarily what's the baseline.
Yeah, it's sea level relative to sea level.
Fuck. I hope it's not Antarctica.
You hope correct.
What? It's not Antarctica.
It is Australia.
What? Are you
Oh,
serious?
Nice. I guess so.
I was gonna actually have a tiebreaker, see if you
I
guys
think-
got
I'm
both.
pretty
got it,
sure
but-
it's
I
Antarctica.
think
dude.
Antarctica is
You
kind
could just
of
Google right now.
mountainous,
Google
though, is
right
the
now.
Thing though, Bob. There's like higher elevation in
No,
Antarctica.
forget it. I mean, because it's it is average. That's what it's asking.
Average, yeah. So even if Antarctica is even mostly below sea level. if
What's the
that's-
question?
Lowest average elevation.
Yeah, it's probably right.
You guys have any guess in feet? What the
10.
average elevation? 10 feet of elevation?
Well, I mean, I don't know. No. There's no like below sea level areas of Australia, right? Maybe the center is below sea level. Probably not. I don't know. Whatever the lowest one is, it's gonna be pretty small. 100. Yeah. Okay. Maybe not 10.
All right, it's a good one, man.
It is
Good game.
984.
984. All right.
GG, man.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking
did
like
come back.
Africa's probably
Yeah,
pretty
see,
flat
you
too.
did. You did
know,
come
right?
back.
Yeah.
They got some mountains there,
They got
though.
mountains.
Yeah.
man.
And it's also
Relatively
just
flat.
humongous. So there's
Yeah, I mean a lot
There's
of
a lot
it
of
is plains
variance.
or whatever, though. Yeah, maybe there's just a lot of variance.
All right, 2 games in a row. Somebody
Yeah.
came back.
Did the
Yeah,
comeback?
the comeback.
GG, and I
Thanks
think
for
those
listening,
questions
guys.
are actually for the most part pretty good.
Yeah, this book is great.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening. Oh, and any questions or anything? I haven't dropped this for a while. Email us quizquarterspodcast@gmail.com
Tweet us.
or follow us or tweet us on Twitter @quizquarters. Yeah.
we love you.
Yep. Bye.